Welcome to part 2 of painting a watercolor person using burnt sienna as skin tone. So I'm going to use burnt sienna. I'll put a little bit on my palette, and of course with watercolor you want more water than paint. And I'm going to paint first the shadow above the eye, between the eye and the eyebrow, and I'm just going to use my burnt sienna to do that. Put in that shadow all the way around. Then I'm going to put in the shadow where the hat meets the head, with that skin there. And I'm going to get a clean brush and some water and just soften that hard line there. I'm going to use a towel to pick up any mistakes that I've made. I like using burnt sienna as skin tone because really all you need to do is thin it out and it becomes a very nice skin tone. And it can be used as the shadow for the skin tone and the lightest skin tone as well. So it seems to work fairly good. I'm going to, of course, try to always blend it out with a little bit of water, never having a hard line. I'm going to do into the cheek and around the ear as well. And I want the ear to be a little bit darker because it is a little bit different than, say, the face. So I want to distinguish it by making it a little bit darker. And I'll use my brush again to put in some of the cheekbone. Often you don't want to overdo this, you just want to put a little bit in of shadow in the cheekbone, a little bit of shadow in the chin and under the neck. I want to soften that line up again with some clean water just to make it so that it's not a hard line and make sure that that's all kind of diffusing out evenly. I'm going to use a pretty dark wash, or a pretty thick wash of burnt sienna for the nose. I'm going to make sure that I get that little cleft in the nose and then around the nostrils. If I don't like it, I can always pick it up with the towel, I should say, and just go back in. And I'll do this a few times sometimes, just until I get the right tone or darkness to what I want, and it's not over too much. I want to keep it pretty subtle as well. Once the eyes have dried a little bit, I like to go back into them just to make a little bit darker shadow. Once again, between the bridge of the nose there and the hat, I'm going to make that a little bit darker. I'm going to make it dark under the eyes now. Try to get the right value there underneath that eye. If I make a mistake, once again, I just use that towel. I keep all these in my hand. Okay, so then I've got that pretty good. Still want to bleed that out by the bridge of the nose. It doesn't look quite right. Pick it up with the towel again. Keep going back in and letting it bleed out. Using that wet to wet technique now. Then under the lips, back into the chin, just to darken up a little bit. Now I'm going to do the neck, and the neck, of course, is quite a bit darker than the face, so I'm going to put quite a bit of shadow in here, maybe not that much. Pick up the towel there, and blend it in so that there isn't a hard line. Don't want any hard lines from being, a wet into dry. And once I've got that all done, I'll let it dry, and then it's really easy. All I'll do is take a big brush and paint over the whole thing with that burnt sienna, just another wash of burnt sienna. And what you can see is, because the paint is translucent, the shadows underneath actually still come through because they're dry, and but they do soften up a little bit because, as you know, watercolor paint always reconstitutes when you add more paint and water to it. So it just softens everything up a little bit, but still the shadows are there. So that was part 2. The next video will be on eyes, using wet on dry to really make the eyes pop out.